it's Jan Beta, and as you can see I'm back here with my newly refurbished Amstrad CPC 464, and it still works, obviously. There's a tiny bit of a problem with this. It's not so much a problem with the machine itself, although I don't know if the data recorder works yet, because I don't have any tapes to try. So the thing I want to do, because I read about that and I think it's quite easy to do, is to put an external audio input inside this machine so I can read tape images or like MP3s of tapes from an external audio source like my phone or an MP3 player. So yeah, that's the plan for today. Let's see how that goes. So obviously there will be some other things I want to do, such as refurbishing the power supply and stuff like that, because I'm now using just a random 5-volt power supply I had lying around, which works fine, but I want to come up with something better. But that's not for this video, I guess. First of all, we got to take it apart. Turn it off. So obviously, since the PCB is in the bottom half of the casing, there's two cables, one for the cassette drive, which is also a power cable, and one for the keyboard, which I think in later revisions this is like a ribbon cable thing. This is a proper cable that's in there pretty tightly. So there we go. Okay, so this is the top half which we are going to work on today. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to install a audio in socket, which I have different varieties of in my parts bin here. I think we're going to go with this because the case is rather thick. And we're going to need, yeah, this is going to work, I guess. We're going to fit one of these, so we can have a standard phono plug, and just insert that and play something back, and then have it reach the input of the electronics here, so the CPC believes it's coming from the tape drive. Yeah. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to link in the description where I found the instructions for this. I think it's from cpcwiki.eu. That's a large collection of CPC stuff, and everything you need to know about these machines basically is on there, I guess. So good place to start, at least for me. I'm new, as I said in the last video. I'm completely new to this. I saw one back in the day but never really got into it, so this is all new to me, and I think it's a fascinating machine for several reasons, and I can't wait to be able to play games on this and check out some other stuff. So this mod, yeah, let's just mod it. So I think the first thing I want to do is to install the socket, because I have to drill in the case, and I think I can manage to do so without taking everything out again. I'm just going to go in this part here. I'm just going to carefully drill it from the side. It's going to be located here, left from the volume control. So yeah, it's going to be alright. And that's the spot where there's enough room on the inside of the case for this mod. So that's the place to go, I guess. So first of all, this socket is a stereo one. Don't necessarily need a stereo one, we can use a mono one. I think I'm just going to connect the left and right channels, so we have double the signal coming from a stereo source, which will come in handy later. I think it will. We're going to try, otherwise I'm just going to break the connection again. What we want to determine is the diameter of the hole we are going to drill into the case. So just determining this. This is a 6mm hole. Okay, so I have a 6mm drill. Let me determine where this is going to go. I think it's probably a good idea to tape this off and then just go like here. We can go pretty close to the volume control there. I think should just go somewhere like here. It's going to look nice because it's one line with the other connectors. And then against the destructive power of the drill, I'm just going to put a piece of cardboard on the other side here, which is hopefully preventing me from completely destroying the data corder. Yeah, let's try to drill this. And as you probably know, if you have been following this channel for a while, I have quite a reputation for damaging things with drills, so fingers crossed this is going to work. Good thing I put the piece of cardboard there. Penetrated a bit through the first layer of cardboard. Let's see, should go through there. Yeah, which it does, but we need to remove some of the plastic remains there. Wow, this is soft plastic. This is not very good plastic. Yeah, and it just about fits. Okay, so far so good. Doesn't look that bad. Yeah. So we're going to have to connect our little socket here to the PCB of the data corder. And speaking of PCBs, this video was kindly sponsored by PCB Way, and at the moment at PCB Way there's the November and December shopping festival going on with all kinds of nifty little coupons and special deals and stuff like that. So if you are interested, I recommend checking that out. It is linked in the description. So we need a ground connection, which we can find on this pin here of the, this is where the connector to the main PCB goes. This is the ground in this case. And we need our signal connector, and you can find that here. This doesn't work very well. This pin here, which is, yeah, it's under this IC from this side. So this one is for the signal, so it's going to get a red wire, and this one is for the ground, it's going to get a black wire, as is tradition. So let's get some wires and solder this up. Hopefully doesn't short out anything. Don't want to short there. Okay, so this is fine. This is fine. This should be ground. Yeah, and it is ground. Okay, indeed. And the other one goes there. Just adding a bit of flux and like fresh solder that has fresh flux in it. So this is going to work a lot easier. There we go. And of course you have to make sure that these little pieces of wire don't fall into the case here. So now both of these should be connected to our little socket. There we go. And our positive should go over the two terminals Okay. So I think I'm just going to put a little cable tie here so these don't interfere with the mechanical parts there. That should be enough, I guess. So I just realized here's like a very handy hole in the PCB so that we can put another cable tie here and secure these very neatly to the PCB. Like so. Just determining all the mechanical things still work without any obstruction. Yeah, they do. Okay, so I'm going to put this back together halfway without putting the screws in, and then we're going to test this. Does look kind of neat. Let's see if it works. In order to test this, I wanted to just use the software named Tape Dancer or Tap Dancer, which is just brilliant, and you can just use it on an Android tablet like this, and let's just load tape files like CDT files or TAP files, or most of the tape formats for like the ZX Spectrum and the Commodore 64 and the CPC. But my tablet died and I don't have another Android device, so I'm pretty much stuck with using something else. There's like software for PCs as well that I'm going to try. But yeah, kind of a bummer, because this, I really recommend this, and I'm going to link it below in the description. So if you want to do something like this, Tap Dancer is the way to go. It's the easiest one I've found. If you have a working Android device, it's the way to go, unlike me. Sorry. So after some research, I found this thing, which is CDT to Wave. I'm going to link that in the description as well, cpclive.com. This supposedly is a good method of getting audio output from CDT files, which are the tape files for CPC tapes that are used in emulators and such. So I'm just going to download that and install it on my system here. Oh, so it seems you need a Java virtual machine, Java virtual machine, JVM. So I'm just going to download that. But this also means, because you have the jar, that you can run this on every system virtually, I guess. Every system that supports Java. Yeah. 3 billion devices run Java. Yeah, you installed Java successfully. Does the jar... Oh, the jar thing works. Okay, now that we have Java installed. Okay, I can open a CDT and then I can play back the thing, or convert it to MP3. Huh. Nifty. So, unfortunately, this doesn't work at all. It doesn't see or hear, in this case, the signal from the tape. I think it might just be too low. So another option of doing this is to connect the input from the little socket that we added directly to the tape head, and that should give us a higher volume. So this is supposed to work for some versions of this, and it's also said in the CPC wiki that it doesn't work for all versions, so I just assume it doesn't work for my version of the setup, or maybe it doesn't work with the sound card or anything like that. But we clearly heard through the little speaker, internal speaker here, that the sound arrived at the machine. It just wasn't loud enough, I guess. So I have to replace the red wire altogether because it's not long enough. Our head connections are here, where it says RP, record and play head, I guess, record and play head. minus should be the negative connection and plus should be the positive connection. Of course, obviously. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, there we go. Let's test this. Maybe it works better. Now there's quite some noise coming from the machine. And I should press play and a key. So there. Let's see what that brings us. Okay, nothing. It doesn't work. So after fiddling a bit with the settings, it is actually doing something, and I think we are just loading Balderdash. Actually, I connected it back to what I first used, and I'm actually using my monitor speaker's phone's jack now. And now it's loading something. Let's see if it is able to load the whole game. That would be nice. Would prove that it actually works. I mean, it works partially already because it started loading the game. And obviously it takes some time. But you have to get the levels just right. That's a bit of a fiddly thing, especially if you have such a weird setup with a PC. I guess it would be easier with like an Android phone or something. And the Tap Dancer software. And then you just save your setting and use that. I hope this works because it takes a while. And the sounds are not very pleasing. Yay! We completely and utterly loaded Balderdash. Nice one. We have Balderdash now here, running. Beautiful. Oh, there we go. Okay, Z, X. Plus and... Okay, nice. I'm actually able to play something. That I loaded from tape. So it seems the trick to get this reliably, or at least more reliably working than previously, is to use a mono cable, which I didn't in the beginning, but now I'm using one that I made for my ZX Spectrum, which I did similar experiments on that worked similarly. Probably you could just cut the connection and still use the stereo cable. So I learned some things. One of them is that I can push the control button and the enter button in the numpad at the same time and get a shortcut for the run command, which is pretty handy, of course. And the other thing, there we go. And that the other thing is that the volume control doesn't have anything to do with what's actually loaded, I guess. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope this was informative and maybe a bit entertaining for you. Yeah, please stay tuned for more on this channel. Hope to see you again sometime. I'm Jan Beta. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.